Good morning, everyone. My name is Doug, and I am playing a game called The Crust. Except today is not going to be a normal game day, and I hope you will forgive me for this. I have actually pulled up a previous save. I've been reading in the comments from a gentleman called Moondoggy, and yes, I do read all my comments, and I want to take advantage of it. But he has been giving me some advice on basically my early game, which I appreciate, and my conception that regolith is just regolith, which is what I have down here, seems to be mistaken. And the percentages you get coming out of the various aura nodes do seem to be important, so I'm going to test that today. But what it does mean is that I need to have a lot of money, so I've jumped to a previous save, and I'm going to rip out everything for this particular test. I will continue with my game later, but this may affect the way I do future bases. So let's just go ahead and start deleting things here. Now again, this is not going to affect my normal game. I am strictly doing this as a test to see basically if my conception of regolith is incorrect. And it could well be that it is. I am not an expert in this game. I definitely have been learning it as I go along, and I do appreciate any advice or comments that people do make. So bear with me while I rip everything apart. For this. You may ask why I'm ripping everything apart. It's just simply so I have a clean slate to work with. Plus, having the mixed regolith on the ground will actually come in handy. Go away. Having the mixed regolith on the ground will actually come in handy for part of what I want to test. So, I know while this is a pain in the ass to watch, I try and give you guys everything I go through. Now you may notice that I'm ripping out entire stretches of my conveyor by hitting the junctions, and I'm holding the shift down to get them to do what I want them to do, which is basically take out the entire stretch of conveyor. Now, I'd always been under the impression that regolith was just regolith, and it didn't really matter. Whoops, jumped up to the surface there. Okay. Now, as I was saying, I had always been under the impression that regolith was just regolith, and the numbers that they give you were just part of the atmosphere. There we go. Although in a moon game that may not be the best word. But Moondoggy is telling me that those percentages actually are accurate, and that if you want to, well, you can get any amount of most any mineral from regolith. Your numbers will vary according to the percentages that particular ore site gives you. And so, well, the test that I want to run one will be how those particular ore sites work. And oh crud. And then two, I'm going to also be collecting the regolith that's mixed and seeing how that works as well. Because we do have situations where they do mix. And things like the multi-regolith refinery, he hasn't really talked to me that much about. So, we will figure these things out. I'm just basically giving myself a clear palette to work with. So, if you're wondering why I'm doing that, that's the reason. And yes, there is a certain amount of satisfaction in destroying everything. And don't worry, I will be continuing with my regular series later. I definitely have everything saved. So, this won't affect that. But, if breaking continuity bothers you, you may not want to watch this. And again, mostly I'm just doing this so that I have a clear palette to work with, so don't take any of this as the be-all and end-all of my game. Hit the wrong key. But if he's right, and I have no reason to doubt that he isn't right, this will affect how my early game goes. Again, I'm not sure how it's going to affect my game when I have multi-regolith refineries. That's something I'll still have to figure out. Okay, pretty much wiped everything out here. We might as well see what we have. I will just rebuild these. Okay, that can go. And of course, I have a lot of building material. That would be something that comes in handy. I've pretty much taken everything out at this point. Okay. So, let's start with the basics. Whoops. One is still there. Okay. So, let's start with this one. We have an aluminum deposit. Extractor. Okay, so 4% iron, titanium is 5%, silicon is 4%, aluminum is 55%, water is 0.1%. So, okay. So credit for this idea goes to Moondoggy. Well, I'm doing this, but the whole concept of what I was doing wrong in my early game goes to Moondoggy. Although I have had a couple of other people suggest that maybe I was incorrect in my assumptions. So and I am not an expert by any means in this game. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Okay. would be nice if they had these lined up the same. Whoops, not regolith. Aluminum. Silicon. So iron, silicon, aluminum, titanium. Yeah, I just got that one wrong. Also, we want to measure rock, maybe slag. Because we need to see how much waste is produced. Okay, everything's powered up, and now we have things flowing. And we'll need to let this run for a little bit. Now this is just one, but it'll tell me what I need to know. Now while this is running, let me go do another one. Let's see. Here's iron. 65% on the iron. Titanium is 5%. Silicon is 6%. Aluminum is 4%. So let's go ahead and run this as well. And that will give this time to run, although I can already see just from the slag amounts. Yeah. That looks right. Slag. And this one will be iron. This one will be silicon. This one will be aluminum. Wait till everything gets built before we actually power it on, so we have equal run times. Okay. So this is aluminum. We have 18 iron, 5 silicon, 50 aluminum, yeah, and 5 titanium. So the numbers do make a difference. 40. 0, no slag. Wow. Considering how much of a problem slag gets, that's really impressive. Okay. So, conclusion is the numbers do matter. They matter quite a bit. Now, I haven't gotten a good answer from him on multi-regolith refineries, but let's take a look at that. So, first off, we need to start collecting a variety of... Yes. So we want to make this regolith. So it'll just get collected randomly. And then come in here. Wait a second. How do I want to do this? Don't need to smelt it. But I do need this. This. Here. Here. Aluminum. This is silicon. This is slag. This is titanium.
Research complete.
This is iron ore. slag too. Okay. One, 4, 2. Definitely a lot more. And yeah, there is a little bit. Hey, sorry, my dog is getting himself in trouble. Right, slag 6 from the iron, 49. So there is still some slag built up or from here. Now, still have a long way to go on the multi, so sorry about that. Don't chew on wire. Well, I think it's pretty conclusive that the deposits do mean something and that you should pay attention to them, which I will start to do now in my games moving forward. But I am waiting on this result from the multi. There we go. Wow, this is going to change my early game quite a bit. I mean, I'm no longer going to have unified runs. It's all going to be very centralized until at least mid end game. I'm going to have to figure out how to use I'll have to figure out how to incorporate the multi-regolith refineries in a totally different way. Oh, right. I may not have those plates right now. Let's go ahead and just set up a small one. Resource, regolith. And since cargo drones can come into handy here, let's go ahead and pump those back into play. So, just so we understand, the basis here is that it is picking up from everywhere. This is the mixed regolith. Six, 71, 7, 13. Obviously, silicone is the big number there. Okay. that off and let that empty out. Then we will drain all this stuff off. This was aluminum. Silicon, slag, titanium, and iron. Okay.